Cooper Marcher here. Here's an interesting and kind of complicated subject today. Men rule society because they are willing to compromise individuality on a mass scale. Men like being unique to an extent, but they're less variable than women. Men don't mind being generalized as much, and they see similarities among men as a thing to be desired rather than a thing to be shunned. Critical thought about social norms is discouraged among men. In other words, if a guy has an opinion that differs from social norms, he's more likely to think that he has a problem rather than society at large has a problem. For example, a guy who knows he's insecure may lament about how women don't appreciate insecure guys, but he's not going to start a campaign convincing anyone to give insecure guys a chance. Instead, an insecure guy will either try and be more confident, or he'll recognize that he has a trait that isn't attractive to most women. Some guys who get repeatedly rejected will just give up on women altogether. Fairness isn't much of a sticking point among men either. For example, most men believe that if they do a bad job, they should be compensated worse than someone else similarly situated. They seem to recognize that some guys will be better with women, some guys will be smarter, some will make more money, etc. Thus, they form hierarchies. Although hierarchies may not seem conducive to unity, there are enough different hierarchies within a man's life, like who's best at video games and who's most athletic and who's most punctual, that he's bound to feel dominant at something among his peers, which eases tensions and senses of inferiority. A sense of inferiority, conversely, is why men are more willing to fall in line with other men's beliefs. They fall in line at the risk of being ostracized, like being called a wimp or a sissy or something like that, by both men and women. Men yearn for purpose. It's why men embrace their preconceived societal roles, like protector and provider, relatively more than women do, even though those roles may be outdated. I imagine it's why a lot of men get discouraged when their lady makes more money than them. Divorce rates rise when wives make more money than their husbands. Most men hate feeling useless, especially in a relationship. Even single men hate feeling useless. Men commit suicide in mass numbers during economic downturns, and societies are more likely to have civil wars when people are unemployed en masse. Men like having a role, and when society gives them one, they don't argue with it. Men will put their life on the line if given a purpose to do so. Men have joined militaries over millennia, only to be a private on the front lines. Women are individuals, whereas men are an entity. Neither style is better or worse than the other. On the other hand, it allows them to easily coordinate their beliefs, and unity of opinion has a way of swaying societies. Some women say that all men think the same, but is that necessarily a bad thing? Men run the world because they move as one. With the way things are in the world right now, perhaps it is time for a change. And it's time for women to rule the world. But what do I know? I'm just a feline. Cooper Marcher here. Ciao.